just reaching the final stretch. Remaining chefs, will you please?
Here you go.
What is she doing? Don't ever interrupt Urara's commentary. Don't make me hurt you!
I was kind of getting tired of waiting. I put my very soul into this. Well, please eat up and enjoy.
In the previous episode, we covered episodes 13 to 18 of Food Wars. If you haven't seen that yet, make sure to check it out before this one. Previously, our protagonist Suma not only proved his worth by defeating fellow students, but also an alumni. Now with the selection exam coming up, Suma can only pray that the members of the most elite group consider him as a candidate, even if he does get chosen to be one of these select few. However, he must compete to narrow their numbers down even more. Episode 19. Currently at the Academy, the members of the Elite 10 discuss amongst each other who should be open to the autumn selection test. Ishiki tries to persuade the others to let Suma participate, however Arina strongly objects. Following this, a man joins the conversation and tells the others he would like to see Suma enter the selection test. With his approval, it is decided amongst the table that Suma is eligible for the exam. Later that week, the selection exam results are presented where students either make it or don't. Suma makes it and seems unsurprised by such a small achievement. After this, Takumi approaches and makes some smart remarks to him, acting like Suma isn't one of the best chefs. Alice, on the other hand, talks with her friend about how she is surprised Suma made it. Suma notices them talking and greets them, hoping to befriend them. He is interrupted, however, by Urara standing above them as the announcer for the exam. She tells everyone that they have been split into two groups who will compete amongst each other. The best chefs from these groups will then move on to the real tournament. With these events occurring over their summer break, it makes some students excited and others angry. Arina, however, looks down on the others from above, congratulating her assistant for making the cut. She then thanks Arina and tells her that she will take down Suma. This makes Arina cringe, her having told Suma he isn't making it any further multiple times. Suma, still unsure of the exam, asks Alice for more information about it. She informs Suma that the Elite 10 choose the participants each year, then only benign the best of the best. Megumi, however, despite being chosen, feels she doesn't deserve a spot in the exam. Then suddenly a girl approaches and introduces herself as Miyoko, informing her she is interested in her. She asks about her competition against Shinomiya, a former Elite 10 member. Megumi informs her that she only won because of Soma, and this makes Miyoko mad. She leaves disappointed in Megumi while Suma still talks with Alice. A black-haired girl, on the other hand, is seen stalking Arina and glaring at her assistant. Amongst these people, there are multiple challenges waiting ahead for Suma. Whether it's the meat lady or new scary-looking characters, he has a long journey ahead of him. Before he embarks on this, however, he needs to start his day farming some crops with his dorm. While doing this, Yuki runs over presenting a letter regarding the selection exam. Once they open it, they learn the main dish they must cook is curry. Before we continue, let's take a moment to answer the question of the day. If you had as much competition as Suma does, would you get nervous before the cooking battle? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out in the next video. Now back to the recap. Suma thinks about this and wonders what kind of curry she should create. While thinking, he remembers when he talked with his father. He talked about curry. Suma's father once having a friend that cooked curry. Suma decides to try and find this friend and track down her curry recipe. Once he enters the room, the friend is sitting on the floor, who apologizes to Megumi for not having tea prepared. Megumi then apologizes back, making the two enter an endless apologizing battle. Following this, Suma introduces himself to the woman as Jurichiru's son, to which she knocks him out. She seems to have hard feelings for him, asking Suma to leave after she punches him. She remembers the moment when she first entered the Polar Star dorm, meeting Jurichiru for the first time. Ever since the first day, she was subjected to countless experiments, making her scarred for life. After hearing this, Suma smiles at all the scummy things he heard from her. He tries to talk with the friend, Jun, but she tells him she will never help a member of Jurichiru's family. A student then enters the room and introduces himself as Hayama, an assistant to Jun. Despite being the assistant, the two seem more like a couple, with Hayama ordering Jun around. He goes over her chores and makes sure she gets them done next time he gets home. After this, Hayama presents a variety of spices to hopefully help the others with their journey of finding a good curry recipe. Hayama presents a natural curry leaf that has been cultivated through their techniques. By combining all of their methods, June is able to create a master spice that goes perfectly with curry. Once the others show a little interest, Jun starts rambling on about spices, making it seem like a bunch of mambo-jumbo. Hayama notices this and takes the others out of the room to let her finish yapping. He takes them to a kitchen where he presents new curry dishes he has created. Suma takes the first bite and is instantly impressed with how perfectly the spices blend together. Hayama then makes another dish, this time prepared slightly differently, making the dish taste completely different despite being the same thing. Suma thinks about the technique, but once Hayama presents the final dish, he can barely even make it to take a bite. Megumi overcomes the screaming flavor and takes a bite. Once she does, she is instantly overwhelmed by the immense flavoring that went into the curry. Hayama explains his techniques to the others, making them one stop closer to learning the secret of curry. While Megumi enjoys the curry, Suma watches as Hayama cooks. Having not looked at the pan once, Hayama displays insane skills. He is able to cook perfectly without even looking at what he is making, and when combined with Jun's science, they become an insane duo. Hayama then informs Suma that he is also attending the exam, telling him he won't beat him. Hayama informs him that he will be the one to take the top spot at the academy. Suma thanks him for the information about the curry but can't stand someone dissing him. Suma tells him that he will beat him in the selection exam at his own game, the curry. He then tries to leave, but Jun bangs the door into his head, giving Hayama the final words. Episode 20. The following day, once Megumi and Suma arrive back at their dorm, they talk about the competition. With only 6 weeks left until the exam, they have to prepare their crops and recipes for the competition to soon come. Megumi does her own part, trying to research all the different spices that can go into curry. She overthinks to herself, and her head explodes, bringing the others into chaos. Suma, on the other hand, visits the club he helped stay alive to try and see if they have some knowledge about curry. Mito tells him that if he wants to create a perfect curry, you need the perfect meat. Takumi, on the other hand, heads back to Italy to help the restaurant over his summer break. His brother informs him that if he spends too much time back home, he won't be able to beat him. Takumi then boards the bus and wishes his brother off, hoping to return soon. Miyoko, on the contrary, is seen comparing her dish to the head chef of a famous restaurant. Once they try her dish, she informs them that she will take over the restaurant once she graduates the academy. Finally, August arrives and a majority of the students in the Polar Star dorm head home for their summer break. Megumi decides to head home as well, leaving Suma unsure what to do. While this is going on, the black-haired girl cooks up a new curry in her arena sanctuary. She wishes for Arena's assistant, Arato, to be defeated by her in the exam. Arena, on the other hand, is seen trying to help Arato out on finding her curry recipe. Alice, however, decides to stalk them and try to find out what they are making. During this, Megumi finally arrives back to her hometown, being greeted by some locals. They tell her that they have heard of all her achievements, but she is interrupted by her mom arriving. She then guides Megumi back to their place, where Megumi enters the kitchen to help her out. Megumi's mom tells her that she is probably better than she is, but Megumi realizes she only made it this far thanks to Suma. Megumi wonders what she can excel at in order to pass the exam. Weeks go by and everyone does their own thing, Suma focusing on his curry. With the addition of Ishiki and Fumio, he has a relaxed summer break. With the exam nearing, Ishiki finds Suma cooking a curry spice. He tries it and is impressed with all the hard work he has been doing. Hayama is seen doing the same, spending all night working on a single spice for his curry. Jun enters and tells Hayama to rest from time to time, but Hayama stays firm in his resolve. Eventually, the day of the exam comes and all of the students gather in the cooking battle stadium. Suma enters and meets back up with people like Megumi and Mito. He greets all the girls first, eventually leading to Alice approaching and joining in on the fun. Alice introduces her friend Ryo finally, and the two become acquainted. Hayama then emerges and tells Suma that he must have been putting in a lot of effort recently. Following this, Takumi approaches and claims to Suma that he will defeat him. Standing next to him is a skinny Isami, who looks nothing like the chumpy guy he used to. They can't believe him at first, but are forced to once Urara takes the stage. She introduces the director to the stage, who takes a large whiff of air once he enters. He tells the students when he breathes around them, he tastes lots of ambition. He announces that originally only the Elite 10 participated in this exam, however they have since changed it. He announces that this will give them a chance to enter the Elite 10, showing a picture of all previous first seats. As the 92nd class, the director tells the others, even if they have a chance at becoming someone special. Urara then announces the rules of the exam, having 3 hours to cook their dish. Out of the 30 people in each group, only 4 will progress to the real tournament. Urara then announces the start of the exam, and they all move to their stations to begin cooking. With so many noticeable faces, it's hard to know who will progress and who won't. Overlooking the exam are a majority of the Elite 10 members, including a beautiful woman. She is named the Queen of Curry for holding some of the most famous curry restaurants in Japan. The students recognize Iseon, a member of the Elite 10, for bringing someone as famous as her to judge the exam. Overlooking this exam is the younger sister of such a queen who also happens to be an Elite 10 member. She hits on Ishiki, however he resists her, telling her she needs to wait. As the students start cooking, the judges start becoming surprised by all the different elements the chefs use. Alice specifically has some large machines to make her cooking process all the more glamorous. The black-haired girl as well cooks up a black-haired curry, looking like a poison. As Miyoko cooks, she gets recognized by students and judges alike. Competing as well in the competition is Mito, who uses only the most fabulous meats. Overlooking her is her club leader, who seems to have grown rather close to Mito. Ryo, on the other hand, is seen cooking much like Suma, working in a robust way. With each slice comes more power from before making his skills really shine. Mito looks around and sees all of her competition, wondering if he will hold up. Hayama, on the other hand, doesn't gain many onlookers because of how secret his techniques are. He really starts to shine once he releases his ultimate spice into the curry dish. Episode 21. While everyone else is making their dish, Suma snoozes off on his chair during the exam. Suddenly he wakes up and opens up his pot to reveal the ultimate ramen dish. Hayama recognizes his talents and tells him he is impressed by his spice combination. Hayama wonders how he made such a spice, but Suma informs him this is just the start. While the others are impressing the audience, Megumi seems to have some haters. They tell her to give it up, calling her a country bumpkin. Megumi doesn't falter, however, her being completely dialed in for her exam. When she goes to get an ingredient, she bumps into Miyoko, causing some male audience members to get angry. Takumi, on the other hand, whips out his large knife, hoping to impress the onlookers. Megumi, on the other hand, is still acting clumsy, making the others wonder how she even earned a spot to cook here. Just when they thought she was a fool, Megumi whips out a large fish, making the audience erupt. Being covered in a hardened slime, the fish she is attempting to use is very hard to cut up correctly. Megumi knows if she can't do this, then she will never compare to Suma. Just when she needs it, Suma appears in her mind and gives her the strength to get to work. Although they all thought Megumi was some random fish, she actually grew up in a port town that specializes in cutting this specific fish. Once Megumi witnessed people struggling to cut it, she decided to make it a goal of hers to learn how to. She learned firsthand from the local butcher who shaped her skills into what she is today. As if she was a master butcher, Megumi impresses everyone in the stands and the judges with her skills. Even Miyoko, who previously was laughing at her, has shown respect to Megumi. While cooking, Fumio overlooks them and reminds her that Megumi has proved her worth time and time again. With only 5 minutes remaining, all of the chefs need to hurry to make it in time. Everyone finishes up and the bell rings, ending the time allocated for cooking their dish. The B group starts first with the judging of the dishes, then having all 5 judges ready to eat. Of all the 30 members competing, there will only be 4 winners, making this a very difficult selection. The first chef presents his dish and gains the favor of the judges. Although nothing too good, the judges all converse about the contents used in the dish and explain how well the chef has done. The judges then present their scores to the man, and he is stunned. With each judge having a total of 20 points, the chef ended up only gaining a total of 33 points. Although he did well, these are professional judges. You can't earn a good score easily. With each judge having their own tastes, it is almost impossible to get a score into the 40s. Finally, it is the black-haired chef who presents a disturbing dish to the judges. With a foul smell making the entire stadium stink, the judges are hesitant to take a bite. One of the judges notices a main ingredient and flames the chef for using such a thing. Episode 22. Having scored in the 90s, it seems Arato will be the champion of the bracket. Following her score, Miyoko emerges and gets a score of 87, putting her in second place. By combining pineapple and curry, she has created a never-seen-before recipe. After baking the curry inside of the pineapple, she added in advanced Chinese spices to bring it all together. The judges look at her with envy, wishing they had the beauty and skills she does. Megumi watches and wonders if she will be able to compete with the likes of these chefs. In the other bracket, Hayama earned a score of 0 by one of the judges. Yuki, on the other hand, earns 86 points with her ramen, putting her in third place overall, with first being Arato, second Miyoko, third Yuki, and fourth Nao. It seems hard to top any of their scores. The judges comment on Yuki's dish, calling it a gourmet duck ramen. Yuki explains how she mixed the ingredients hand-picked in her garden to richen the seasoning to bring out the spices. One of the judges seems to really enjoy the meal, inviting Yuki to come work for him in the future. Fumio, on the other hand, watches proudly, knowing how much Yuki has worked to make this dish. Next up, Takumi and Isami are up to present their dishes to the judges. Appearing as a calzone, the judges wonder what Isami has in store for them. After slicing it open, they are stunned to find a curry-stuffed calzone. With each bite, the curry gets richer, making the judges unable to get enough of the dish. Isami explains to the judges how he made this curry, combining his hometown's tomatoes along with various spices. The judges applaud his skills, calling him an explorer of unknown tastes. He scores a total of 87 points, knocking Nao out of the bracket and putting Yuki into 4th place. Following his dish, Takumi emerges and presents his dish to the judges to try. After one taste, the main judge wonders how he was able to make such a divine flavor. With the noodle sauce melting in the mouth and changing flavors as you eat it, the dish holds an unknown origin. Takumi explains to them to inspect the past to which it is revealed. There are multiple layers to the pasta. By creating multiple pastas and layering them onto each other, then spicing the inside, he is able to bring the most out of the flavors. The judges recognize his strengths and announce him another pioneer of the cooking world. Isami watches and wonders what his score will be, wanting to be better than his brother. He remembers always being flamed for being worse than his brother. Although the others were mean, Takumi never betrayed his brother, only urging him to become better. In this memory, Isami remembers Takumi telling him that they will one day open a restaurant together. With a dream this high, Isami is sure that his brother will outshine him yet again today. Scoring 90 total points, Takumi enters the leader point, claiming 2nd place overall and knocking Yuki out. Following this stellar score, Alice enters the stage and presents her dish to the judges. Appearing as gourmet as it gets, the dish appears like a coral, impressing the judges. Alice informs them that everything has a purpose, causing the judges to take the first bite. Once they take a bite, they are left speechless, unsure on how to describe the complexity of the dish. Being unable to properly convey the complexity of the dish, Alice interrupts the judges and explains it for them. By combining lots of different spices and ingredients, then layering them onto the plate, she's created a new type of dish. Although it's delicious, the judges are unable to properly describe how good the dish is. They call the spices revolutionary and give Alice the title of Global Innovator. Following this, Alice receives a point total of 95, gaining her the top spot, and bringing Mayoko and Isami tied in 4th place. Having graded this, Urara thinks the competition is over. However, Megumi interrupts her, asking to get hers graded as well. The judges show little to no interest, but once Megumi's hometown workers start cheering her on, the audience start to wonder who Megumi truly is. As the last dish in Block B, Megumi hesitantly approaches the stage, remembering all the people that have helped her along the way. Although it doesn't have a flashy appearance like the previous dishes, each piece has its own unique taste. The judges instantly become relaxed after the first bite, admiring the spicing. Described as an infinite layer of spices, they are unable to fully discern her abilities. Megumi explains to them that she used lots of different spices to make a new spice and combine with her various ingredients to make a new broth. She informs them that all the techniques are from her hometown where she learned to cook. When Megumi went home over summer break, her cooking was so divine it impressed all to see. Despite all of her efforts, the judges don't seem to like her dish as much as all of the others, making Megumi discouraged. She remembers all of the people that wished her luck and came out to watch her, hoping she wouldn't fail. With scores in the high 10s starting to add up, it seems like Megumi might have a chance, making her hard work pay off. Thanks to the final judge giving her 1920 points, Megumi earns 88 points, knocking out Miyoko and Isami. This puts Megumi in 4th place and gives her the chance to advance into the tournament. Episode 23. In the A block, the other chefs are still competing to see who will gain a spot at the top 4. Ryo emerges and presents a vagrant lobster to the judges, impressing them. Although a majority of them are impressed, the blonde judge attempts to act like it's nothing special. Once she tastes it, however, she instantly changes, giving the first non-zero score. With the dish's different sauces and deep forest-like fragrance, the entirety of the dish is a masterpiece. To top it all off, Ryu added in cognac to bring an overall earthy taste to the dish. Ryu not only combined different countries' cuisine, but also shaped it all into a traditional French cuisine. Irina's first time meeting with Ryu was a bit strange, Alice presenting him as her assistant like she found a pet. To add a finishing touch to the dish, Ryu puts on his headband to bring out the final piece to his dish. By dropping his secret sauce onto the head of the lobster, it brings out a new taste. He tells them to slurp his meal up, making them feel distressed. Ryu continues pressing them by talking dirty to the blonde judge, bringing her to tears. Having not been talked to like this in a while, she decided to try it out and follow what Ryu says. After the first slurp, The dish fully comes together, bringing an endless flavor bombardment. The judge feels like she is lost in space, unsure how to describe it anyway. With a total score of 93 points, Ryu tops not only the top score in the B bracket, but also the A bracket. Suma becomes impressed and instantly gives Ryu his respect for his performance. Despite him gaining such a high score, there are still others who stand a chance at breaking his score. The judges talk amongst each other, telling the others that some years the highest score is only around 80. Up next is Mito, who presents a special kind of curry, hers having the most pristine meat there is. Using a 5 quality meat as usual, Mito is able to enchant the judges' taste buds with her dad's company goods alone. The others watch as the judges prepare to take a bite, wishing they could take a bite. The blonde judge in particular questions whether she is ready to take a bite of something so good, having just recovered from Ryu's meal. Mito forces her to take a bite, and when she does, it takes over. Bringing her to enlightenment, Mito's dish impresses not only the main judges, but the stuck-up blonde judge as well. The judges continue eating the dish, wondering why they even gave all the people before the last 2 a chance. The judge gives his feedback for the dish, telling the others that they want to eat it all. The announcer tries to stop the judges, but they can't stop eating, causing the other participants to worry. As time goes on, the judges continue to eat the dish prepared for them, recognizing Mito as the meat master. Following this comparison, they give her a score of 86 points, earning her 2nd overall. Suma comes to comfort her, but Mito wonders what he has in store. The announcer then announces Ryuko, a Polar Star dorm member, is up to the table. The audience looks at her dish and realizes it looks pretty normal compared to the previous ones. After the judges take the first bite, they realize it's not just any curry. Having mixed charcoal fires into the seeding, Ryuko was able to make a more complex flavor. The judges realize that's not the only special thing about the dish. Asking about the soy sauce, she explains that by doing the same method but adding additional spices, she was able to create a sticky substance that resonates in the mouth. As the judges eat her dish, they see her as a master chef, giving her a score of 86. With this, she is tied for 2nd along with Mito. Suma then approaches her and tells her she did a good job. However, Ryuko doesn't seem too happy. Following her dish, Maru steps to the stage, ready to impress all of the judges. As he reveals his dish, everyone instantly notices how white the dish is. Having created a white curry, Maru combined different elements that go into the dish to make a unique flavor. The blonde judge takes a bite and surprisingly enjoys it quite a lot. All of the other judges begin slurping, and they all seem too invested in the dish to speak. Eventually, a judge stops eating and critiques the dish, calling it a masterpiece. He tells them that although it appears heavy, it is extremely light, making it easy to eat. The blonde judge slurps it up like no other dish, asking Maru to explain the contents. He explains the different elements of the dish to the judges, and this makes them even more impressed with him. One particular teacher remembers Maru being in his research class, achieving the top grades for it. By using the anatomy of food, Maru has earned the name Professor of Taste. With this, he achieved 88 points, putting him in 3rd place and bumping down the other 2. The crowd erupts and wonders if the momentum can continue going. Next up goes Ibusaki, another member of the Polar Star dorm, who presents his dish to the judges. From the aroma alone, they know it's going to be good, so they don't hesitate to dig into the dish. After the first bite, they recognize his talents and question how he made the dish so perfectly. He explains that by cooking the egg and bacon in a certain unity, he is able to bring out never-tasted-before flavors. By boiling salt and then adding that with seaweed, Ibusaki was able to bring out a flavor, earning him the title Prince of Smoke. He achieves 88 points as well, tying him up with Maru for 3rd place. Episode 24. Before the final contestants in the selection exam go, we get a glimpse at Jurichiro's opinion. He remembers despite all of his losses, he has gradually become stronger. Previously, we had Takumi, Miyoko, Alice, and Megumi all passing in the B block. In a block, however, we have Hayama displaying his curry to the audience, bringing a rich smell. Described as an elegant armor that brings you to tears, the audiences try the heavenly curry. Being topped off using a combination of French and Japanese methods, Hayama perfectly combined the spices. With its rich taste and fresh basil added to the dish, the judges have a new favorite. They praise the dish so much, one of the judges compares it to the elixir of life. Hayama then informs the judges that his spice isn't the only trick that is added into the dish. By adding yogurt, Hayama was able to perfectly combine the various flavors into one divine taste. The blonde judge seems to have taken such a liking to his cooking that she offers him a job right off the start. Hayama, however, announces that he fights for no one other than June. This turns the blonde judge on even more, making her want to continue eating the curry. She calls it the perfect curry, and it receives a score befitting its name. Earning a total of 94 points, Hayama jumps to the lead, dethroning Ryo from the top spot. With this new addition to the leaderboard, Mito and Ryuko are knocked out of the tournament. While Arina watches the tournament, Ishiki enters her booth and starts spicing stuff up. Yumio appears as well, asking Arina if she's excited to see what score Suma is able to get. Suma then approaches the board and offers Hayama his own plate for the curry. Hayama wonders how Suma is able to be so smug after seeing what he made. To their surprise, however, Suma reveals an omelet, then slices open the middle to reveal the ultimate curry spice. After being sealed within the omelet, Suma reveals the fragrance all at once, filling the stadium with delight. Suma then presents a spoon to Hayama, offering him to take a bite of the dish. Because of the smell, the judges expect something of Hayama's level or a little worse. To their surprise, however, the curry knocks the judges out, making them enjoy this dish more than any other. With the combination of the sauce and risotto, Suma is able to make a flavor explosion that sends shockwaves in the mouth. Hayama comments that the fragrance isn't the only good thing about the dish. By using his own homegrown ingredients and creating his own spice, Suma makes a complex taste with mangoes. By combining a variety of spices and his signature mango addition, Suma has a reason for being so confident. The others applaud him for his skills, wondering if he will be able to take down Hayama's score of 94. During this, Arina and Ishiki, two members of the Elite 10, recognize his strength. Ishiki informs Arina of Suma's father, telling her that he is the best chef ever. For the first time, Arina recognizes Suma's strength despite the misfortune he has put her through. The judges, on the other hand, talk amongst each other, unable to decide which flavor is the best. In a battle between Hayama and Suma, they reveal that they are the top students of the Academy. Following this, the judges revealed a score of 93 points, putting him in second place, and 1 point surpassing Hayama. Being one of the only people to gain over 90 points, the audience begins to recognize Suma's talents as well. After missing only 2 points among judges, they begin to argue about who they think deserves to win. The judges seem undecided about Hayama and Suma, both of their dishes being masterpieces. Overlooking him is an Elite 10 member who is glad to see Suma advance to the main tournament. While Suma might have lost in the overall point total, he won in the amount of judges in his favor. To celebrate all of the passing grades into the selection exam, the Polar Star dorm decided to party. Megumi in particular remembers all of the people that were cheering her on. Not only has she overcome her stage fright, but she has proven her skills as a top chef at the Academy. Later that night, some of the students are happy while others are mad. Ishiki recognizes the first year's strengths, wondering if they will dethrone him one day. Alice, on the other hand, is seen talking with Arina, asking for her praise. Arina informs her that she won't be able to help with anything, her being very busy. After she leaves, Arado talks with Arina, which brings in the attention of Nao. Arina, however, is seen still thinking about Suma's dish, wishing she could have taken a bite. She gets so frustrated by having Suma live in her head rent-free, she punches the table. Suma, on the other hand, stands atop of the dorm balcony, looking off into the sky. Megumi approaches and thanks him for everything he has done to help her so far. Mito overhears this and begins to get jealous, wishing she could have a moment with Suma like her.